All right. Hello. Good morning. I would say welcome to class in absentia. Uh, yeah. I'm sorry for last class. I wasn't able to attend due to some issues, um, unforeseen circumstances, unplanned circumstances. Really, I'm deeply, deeply sorry. And which leads to this makeup class. So it's a pre-recorded class where you get access to what we're supposed to learn last class, right? Which we're going to do today. And due to the fact that we are not all present, so it might not take up to the normal time. When you are present, we'd have to do classworks, ask questions, uh, you know, have some discussions also, which ultimately prolongs the class. But then, in absence of those, the class might be shorter. Really. All right. So today's class really will be last class the last time we had class we talked about friendly the friendly letter. Let me thicken this a bit. So we talked about the friendly letter, but for today's class, and which I'm sure we've had tangible knowledge of, right? So for today's class we'll be talking about the formal letter. The formal letter is also called the official letter. Official letter, from and official is from the word office, which means official letters can be written to offices. For example, letter of employment, right? Take me for instance. Before I secured the job with the organization, I had to send a letter. I saw the job application opening somewhere, I think on LinkedIn, and then I had to submit an application, an official application, like a letter stating my intent to work with the organization, and then things move from there, right? So that is what we mean by official letters, right? So they are written to offices, mostly people we do not have relationships with, people we do not know. As the case of the friendly letter, we said it was written to people we know, our parents, our friends, and the likes, right? But for the formal letter, it is written to people we do not know. And sometimes it might be, for example, you want to write to your school admin or to your school principal. Now you know them, you have this sort of relationship. You greet them, they come to your class, you know, they give you official information, right? But you don't have very deep relationship with them, right? So when you want to write a letter to them, it's probably you don't even know their name, you don't know, well, you just know the position they're occupying. They are the school admin, they are the school principal. So you still have to write official letters to them, right? You have to be extremely respectful, which is um, one of the characteristics of formal letters. It needs to be very respectful. You have to go straight to the point. Um, you can't use abbreviations, like for example, the word. Oh, you want to say I can't come today. Now, for official letter, you can't use can't. Is wrong. Instead, you say what? I can not. This is correct. Right. So we don't use contractions for official letters, but for informal letters, you can do that. You're free. But for formal letters, you cannot. All right. Okay. So I believe that's enough introduction. Now let us go to the uh, the material. I'd like to open this first. Let me use slideshow. Where's my slideshow? Right, from beginning. Okay, all right, I think that's okay. Now, so here we have. Oh no, yes. So here we have how to write a formal letter. So let's dive into it. Now here we have. Was Can I play this? Oh no, we can't. So here we have the layout. And I like the fact that this is even given us on the first page, right? Now, the layout. So don't forget, like we said last class, um, your subscription has to come on the right. Right here, not on your left, right? It has to be on your right. Don't forget that. Every other thing is correct, just this. Okay. Now, so we are starting from as opposed to the formal to the informal letter where we have just one address, which is the writer's address, right? But formal for the formal or official letter, you need two addresses: address 1, address 2. Now, address 1 is the writer's address. Writer's address, while address 2 is the recipient's address. Now, recipient means the receiver. Don't forget. Means receiver. All right. Okay, let's move on. So we've sorted that. So for the formal letter, you need two addresses: your address and the person you're writing to. So the writer's address, as usual, remains on the top right of your paper. On the top right. And then, like we said, you leave one line, then go to your sorry, go to your date. And then after your date, you leave another line. Then you go, so you leave one more line. Then you go to your recipient's address. The recipient's address.
Hello? Hello?
Psst, psst.
Hello, I can hear you. Come on, ma.
All right. So moving on.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So we've sorted that. So for your address layout,
Okay,
the
you
writer's
don't have
address
21.
comes first, followed by the recipient's
You
address.
don't have 21.
Then um, your salutation, right? Your salutation should come next. You leave one more line, then you come to salutation, right? Now don't forget, we're still looking at the layout. We have more to work on later, right? Now, so for this instance here, you actually know. Okay, even before you even go to that, okay, let's move on. We're going to talk about it later. Now, for your salutation, there are instances where you might know the person's name, or you might not. So if you know the person's name, you can write it this way: Dear Mr. Pickington. But if you do not, you can just simply write Dear Sir or Dear Madam. Dear Madam. So that is also acceptable. That is the instance where you do not know their um, their name. Right? So you can use Dear Sir or Dear Madam. But if you do know their name, you simply write this: Dear Mr. Pickington, Dear Mrs. Lawal, Dear Mr. Mark, and the likes. Alright? So, and like I said, you go straight to your point. You don't greet. You don't know them. So you don't have to greet. Oh, hello, I am. No. You simply go to your idea, to go directly to your point. I am writing to complain about the vegetables purchased from your shop 3 days ago. Now that is your introduction. Go straight to your point. Don't forget. All right. And right here, now you can see what I said before about no contractions. I am writing now. Normally, if it was informal, I would simply say what I'm writing. But because it is formal, you cannot. Right, so you write it in full. I am writing to complain. Right. Now, usually your formal letter doesn't need to be long. Maybe 3, 4 paragraphs. You're done. Right. So the first paragraph for your introduction, second paragraph for your main purpose, where you give your full explanation, and then your last paragraph would be your conclusion, right? Before your subscription. All right. Don't forget that for your subscription. All right. Let me get my note here. Okay. 1 minute, please. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's move on. So now moving to our subscription, that is the end, like after our conclusion, how do we end the letter? All right, and like I said, you don't put it on the left, you put it on the right. Okay, so on the lower right, and it must align with your address. Okay, with the writer's address, really. All right, so now you can use yours sincerely, you can use yours faithfully. For informal, you have to you can only use yours sincerely. You can use faithfully. You can use yours sincerely, sincerely yours, forever yours, as you like. But for the formal, either use yours sincerely or yours faithfully. Right? And then after, let's say, okay, let me show you an example. Yours sincerely, comma. Then right here you have your signature. Now this is mine. Now then your full name, right? What's my full name? My full name is Olorati Akintunde. Yeah, full stop. So that is how you make your subscription. Just sincerely or just faithfully as you like, comma, your your signature and full name, not just first name now, full name. Very, very essential. Very, very, very important. All right. Okay. So let's rub that off. So 1 minute, please. I have to check something. Um, okay. Sorry, please. Oh, all right. So I have to share again. It seems I got logged out. Entire screen. Share. Okay, we're back. All right. So let's move on. So we were here. All right. So let's go back to our slideshow. Okay. So let's see. All right, we're here. Oh, great. So I think I just discovered this. Recipient address, greeting, main body. Then the last part is your closing farewell, which is also your um, subscription. All right. So let's go to the next part. Now, beginning your letter, it says if you don't know who to address your letter to, then you must begin a letter with dear sir or madam, like I said before. If you know the name, you can add their name, dear Mr. Smith, dear Mr. Pickinton. Yeah. And then, yeah, it says for ending your letter, if you don't know who to address your letter to, that is, you don't know their name. Right, I should have mentioned that. You don't know their name. For example, you started your letter with something like, uh, dear madam. Right. So if you're going to do your subscription, because you do not know their name, you use yours faithfully. Use yours faithfully. Right. Your signature, then your full name. But if you do know their name, let's say you wrote dear Miss Joy. Right. Now for your subscription, you use what? Yours sincerely. Right. And then yours sincerely, um, your signature and your full name. So don't forget that. Don't forget that. Very, very important, very essential. So if you do not know their name, use yours faithfully. If you know their name, use yours sincerely. So it depends on you. All right. Now moving on to the next slide. Where is it? Okay. Oh, I think that is all. Is that all? There should be more though. Oh wow. All right. Hold on, please. Oh, I guess that is the end of the. All right. Okay. So I'm going to use this last part to give us like a review, like a setup plan. All right. Now, like I said, when you open your letter, let me use white. When you open your letter, so the writer's address on the upper right, yeah, the recipient's address, and like I said, recipient is the receiver. Recipient address, one line below the writer's address on your left, not on the right. Right? Then your what? Your salutation. Right? Salutation. Right? So, and yes, one other thing I forgot to mention. Your formal letters will always have what we call heading. Heading. That is the title. And that is one thing that informal letter does not have. But for formal letter, it needs to have an heading. And that is where you state, like you, it's like a topic for your letter. All right. For example, you can have complaint on vegetables delivered. Now that is one heading, right? So one thing you should notice when it's in lowercase, you underline. You underline. When it is in uppercase, that is capital letter, you don't underline. Right? That is, for example, you write complaint on vegetables. Oh, sorry. Delivered. Now for this, which is lowercase, you. Oh wow, my line is actually straight. That's nice. Now for this, you underline. All right, but because this is written in complete uppercase, you do not underline. Don't forget that. All right. So let's move on. So after you must have written your and don't forget, just very short. For your first paragraph, like we said, don't greet. You go straight to your points. For your first paragraph, you introduce your reason for writing. Then for so your second paragraph or second and third paragraph, you give more information on why you've written to the organization, and then on your last paragraph, you conclude, right? And then after that, you go to your subscription. And don't forget, if you know the recipient's name, you use what? Use yours sincerely. If you do not know the recipient's name, you use. Let me change the color because it's gonna go into the white part. You use faithfully. Right? Then followed by your what? Very important. Your signature. Let me use my dad's signature. Right? And then from there you go to your full name. Right? Ethan Makwoski. Is Makwoski a name? I think so. Right. So that is that on that. Okay. Definitely next class we are going to expand on this. All right. So next class we're going to see that video. There's a video posted there, right? So I'm going to see that video, and then also we will do more exercise really. So you're going to be challenged to write your own formal letter. But for this, it's just basically an introduction into the topic itself, formal letter, right? So so basically next class I'm going to be learning on how, because this recipient address, it even still has a format, right? You can't just write it anyhow, right? I'm going to show you an instance. So for example, you want to write to the principal of a school, Right. So for the recipient address, you write the principal. That is, you make sure you write what position they're occupying. The principal. Uh, Oaks View. You know what? Let me write it properly. I have to be. I'll have to move a bit slower. So you write the. Oh no. The principal. Oaks View I. Mm, Jericho Street. Jericho Street. Um, what can I add as the? Should I use a Nigerian address or the principal Oaksview I, Jericho Street, Lebanon. Alright. Now this is an example of a recipient address. So it doesn't necessarily have to, for your writer's address, you write your address. Alright. Number 7 and number 7 Oaksview I, and so on and so forth. Right. But for the recipient address, you write their uh, we call it designation. Designation. That is the office held, the principal, the admin, the general assistant, the governor. Right. So and then you write where their position is. Oaksview I. Now that's the school. Right. Then you can write a little bit of the address also. Right. Now I'm going to show you from the text we have here, so you can confirm it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? So it should be somewhere around here. All right. Oh no. I think we are logged out again. But it's okay. Let's just continue. All right. So here we have. Okay. This is your address. This is the recipient address. Okay. Now I'm gonna. Okay. Let me pick from. Let me pick from my. Aha. Now here, I have an example right here. I have an example right here. So here it says. Let me change the color. Here it says Mrs. My writing can be a bit strange. Alright, so I will try to be as careful as possible. Mrs. D. K. Jose, Department of Geography, New Day University. Odun Mabo. Oh no. Oh no. Mabo State. Then the full stop. Alright. So this is an example of a recipient address. Alright. So the the name, the position, the institution, and then the location. Right. So that is the simple format by which we write our recipient address. But not to worry, not to worry. Next class we're going to talk even more on this. All right. I think we've been logged out of Google Classroom, so it's okay. It's okay. I will end the class here. I won't give assignment because it's a makeup class really. All right. So next class we're going to talk more, and I've already uploaded the material, so we're going to use this same material for next class and the video. All right. So, all right. So I'm gonna end the class here. I think it took us 25 minutes, and then we'll meet again. So we're gonna meet next Wednesday by God's grace. All right. So I'll see you guys. Enjoy. Bye.